I thought my arms had actually grown a little longer. On the goddamn ruler, my arms were looking like, instead of being just 10.5 inches long, like they've always fucking been, they look like they were going to get between 10.5 and 10 3/4 inches long. But then I go and measure some arms of some girls and find, whom I've measured many times before, and find that my goddamn arms are still the goddamn same. I'm still being outreached by too many goddamn girls. I feel like God's afraid of God. Afraid to let me shine. Afraid I might be bigger than Jesus like the Beatles. Come on. I'd have mad my chance to shine. Because you're going to win out in the end. Look at the Beatles today. Jesus is still kicking strong. The Beatles ain't what they used to be. And one day they will be forgotten. I want the same goddamn thing. I want my time to shine in the goddamn light now. And I'll pay for it in the earth like God damn it. You're going to let Satan and the Antichrist have his time to shine, God damn it. What, you afraid to let me have my time to shine? I challenge you. I challenge you, God. I curse you for every girl that's rejected me, that will reject me, that does reject me. And now if girls reject me but had to admit I'm a good-looking hot guy, that's one thing. But if they reject me because of my looks, I curse the fuck out of you, God. I want my time to shine. I demand it. I demand it by my free will. And I demand to pay the price, goddammit. I'm like piss in here. Oh, well, shut the fuck up, cunt. This here is an update to that video you just saw. This video that you just saw with me in the red shirt, that video was shot, I believe, in 2010. Maybe 2009. I think it was 2010. Here it is. Thanksgiving night, 2024. A lot has happened. A lot has changed. I don't sell my soul. I mean, I was saved. I was completely saved in that jail in Pitt County Detention Center, when I finally gave to Jesus everything I had been holding back all my 30 years of Christian life. After I had asked Jesus to declare me absolutely righteous based on the sinless death, November 4th, 1999, but I digress. My arms, in this video, I was bitching about my forearms being only 10.5 inches longer. And I thought my forearms had grown to be 10 3/4 of an inch long, and I was celebrating. Only 10 3/4 of an inch long. I believe my forearms have truly grown. I believe God is finally gonna let me have the long forearms and the judgment that comes with it. I believe when I stand before God, I have a grievous account to have to give to Him for allowing me to have the long forearms. I believe, let's measure right here. Had to put on my glasses. Unfortunately, I have to see with glasses now, whereas in 2009, 2010, I had near perfect vision. In this video, in the previous video, I was bitching about my forearms being only 10.5 inches longer. And they're 10.5 inches long. My forearms, 10.5 inches long if you started at my elbow. Only comes to here. My wrist is here. My elbow to wrist to my left arm. My left arm is a little tad bit longer than my right forearm, because I had nerve damage where I used to hit both sides of my face, and my right side of my body is now compromised. My elbow to wrist bone is now 11 inches solid. 11 inches. And I was rejoicing when I thought my forearm had grown to 10 3/4 of an inch long. I was so happy. Not only that, I found when I measured girls' arms, for the most part, I'm outreaching these girls. Whereas back in 2010, I was lucky if my forearm was as long as theirs, or a little bit longer, but not much longer. The only girls that my form was considerably longer than was those really short girls, 5'3" girls, 5'4" girls, and the occasional 5'5" girl. Girls that were 5'7" or taller, their forms are almost, if not as long as mine. And this was a source of great distress for me. I don't want my forms to be as long as theirs. I want my forms to be longer than theirs. It's not that I want their forms to be shorter than mine. I want them to have long arms. I want my forms to be longer than theirs. And my left forearm is a good solid 11 inches long. My right forearm, when I used to measure it, it was struggling trying to reach the 10.5 point mark. Now, my right forearm is between 10 and 7/8 of an inch long and 11 inches long. You don't know how happy it makes me that my forearm, I believe, has truly grown. Let me tell you what it feels like. God has truly blessed me exceedingly in my life. But not being a good-looking guy, not having my head full of hair, and definitely one of my forearms are not long enough. Now I want my forearms to be 11.5 inches long. That's my goal, to have my forearm between 11.5 inches and 12 inches long. But I'm happy to have them as long as they are now. No longer that despicable 10.5 inches, 10 to 3/4 of an inch longer. No longer 10.5 inches, 10 to 3/4 an inch long. So disgusting, so sickening, so unhappy. But not having the long forearms than those long-armed, top-notch girls. Not being a hunk, not being a hottie, not being a foxy, good-looking guy to these same top-notch, good-looking girls. Not looking in my 20s. That is comparable to getting a life sentence, having to live in a South American or a Vietnamese prison as a prisoner of war, where they torture you, where they stick sharp bamboo sticks up your ass if you break the rules. But the blessings God has given me, a wonderful family. When He lets me drink coffee and eat pizzas and go out and sing my songs and people love my songs, that is comparable to a weekend furlough. It is like I live in a Vietnamese prison as an American prisoner of war. But every weekend I get to have a furlough. I get to go out every weekend starting Friday morning. I get to do whatever I want to do just as long as I report back to the prison by Monday morning. So I can do whatever I want to on the weekends, because that's what the blessings God has given to me are like. But not being a good-looking guy, not having my 3 dreams is like I'm living a life sentence in a Vietnamese jail, prison, as a prisoner of war. I guarantee you one thing. If I ever, when I reach the day where my forearms are long to my utter satisfaction, and I don't have erectile dysfunction, I'm having to take a Tadaphilia because I can't get an erection. I get the long forearm, but now I got ED. What a crock of shit. At least I got long forearms, but what good is it? No, I take that back. But I want to be able to enjoy the pleasure of having the long forearms and those top-notch girls.
But you want to get me out of this Vietnamese prison? So I can do it. You want to get me out of this life sentence? Get me whatever it takes. Cosmetic surgery to be a hunk, a hottie, a foxy guy. To the top-notch girls, the young girls, the college girls. Get me looking so good looking that even middle-aged school girls hang posters of me in the lockers because I look so good. Get me looking good so that the college chicks, when they see me, they gotta say hi to me because I look so good. Get me looking good so that if I become famous, it's not being famous that will make the girls come up to me. It's because I look good in the first place. And now that I'm famous, they really like me because I was good looking to begin with. You give me these three things. Give me the stem cells so I can look in my 20s. Or the blessings of God. As long as I can maintain and keep my full bodily motor functions, I will be released from that Vietnamese prison if I can get this. But until that, right now my forearms are longer. There's still girls that have long forearms that I do, but for the most part, whereas in 2010, 2011, only 50% of the girls I measured arms with, mine were longer than theirs. Only 50%. The other 50% were either as long or even longer than mine, which is the source of extreme distress and unhappiness to me. Now, 80 to 90% of the females I measure arms with. And this includes the 5'9", 6-foot girls. My forearm is longer than theirs. But occasionally I find the girls who's shorter than I and got longer forearms than I. I still curse that. I curse that bitterly. I want to have longer forearms than girls who are 6'2", because guys by nature have longer legs and arms than their female counterparts. The average 5'9" guy will have longer forearms than the average 6'3" woman. Now I'm 6 feet tall. There isn't such thing as too long. I do not want my forearms to be any longer than 12 inches long. 11 and 3/4 of an inch long. Maybe 12 inches. But I'd get so angry at God, I'd tell him, God, struck me down with that ACH gigantism that killed Andre the Giant. I'll take that. Just let me live the long forearms. And what this is I was asking God to strike me down to the gigantism so that my arms would keep growing. And they would go, they would become, because they would become distorted, because your epiphyseal plates are closed and your arm's still growing, and eventually it kills you. That's okay as long as I can have my 15 minutes of fame without the ED, enjoying having long forearms and being a foxy, good-looking guy, and being out of this Vietnamese prison. And just as long as I can have this while still being saved, not losing my salvation, and enduring to the end and getting the prize of salvation at the end. Because you don't die a Christian, you don't go to heaven. You don't die in the faith, you go to hell. But you will not believe how much happier I'm so much happier with the longer forearms, so much happier. You just won't know how happy I am when I go out of town and measure arms of good-looking tall girls and my arm elbow wrist is longer than theirs. You don't know how happy it makes me. I'd rather have that without the ED than the $1 billion. Now if I can just get the hair transplant, have my head full of hair, and become the foxy, good-looking guy, even if I had to get a little cosmetic surgery. Now if I could lose the weight, get some lipo to maintain my good looks, which I hope to get one day, I want to look like a boy, not a man. And without my head full of hair, I look so goddamn unsexy. But that's the update on the video. Am I good looking today? Do I still look young as I did back in 2010? Because if I don't, I will let a loud explosive burst and yell a phrase full of swearing and cursing that the air will turn blue.
Love me, but instead you stood above, you spit me out, you kicked me down. I hate your now.